Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and this is video 12 in our Eclectic Heirloom series, and we're going to be doing page 2. Now, some of the things you're going to need is, of course, the paper stack for our papers, and these are all the papers that we're going to be using today. Yes, I know. And so what we're going to do today is make a double flip and a double card, and this, like I said, is going to be page 2. Now, if you would like all these step-by-step instructions typed up in a PDF that you can use when you follow along with the video, that is very easy to do. You can get the free PDF at the end of every video series. I can't talk today. At the end of every video series, if you're a member of the Facebook group. So the link is below the video, and the link is going to be on the screen right now. And so just hop on over there, and then every time that you can get, or that there's the end of a video series, you can get the PDF. There are also all the PDFs of all the projects that have PDFs. A couple of them are small, so they don't. But all of them are available on the Facebook group. Okay? So you can scroll back through and get the ones you want and print them out and go along with that tutorials videos. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to set it right here so I can see it. I have to set it close enough so I can read it with my reading glasses. And the other important thing today is this is today's ring to go along with the color of my work shirt. And I'm recording late today, which is at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now, we're going to be doing page 2. I love this page, page 3 that we did in the previous video. It opens like this, and it opens like this, and then there's a card for here, and a card for here, and then there's a card for here. So we've got 3 spots there. And there's a belly band up here for another card, and there's an opening over here for another card. So we kind of outdid ourselves. Oh, and there's a writing card right here. So we kind of outdid ourselves on that page. It's one of my favorite pages in the book that we've done. So now going on to page 2, we're going to have a flip up and a flip down, and you're going to need some sort of a closure. Today we're going to be using these spinners by Tim Holtz. They come in different sizes in the package. Whoops. So you get 3 different sizes. That's the little one, and there's one in between, and I may have actually used them all. I think this is one from in between. Nope, that's a small one. Anyway, they come with their own brads in the package, and because they need small ones to go through the holes. Okay, so I'll be using one of those today. So you're going to need some of those. You're going to need your glue and your paper stack and some manila folders. Now, to get started, we're going to cut one piece of manila folder at 6 inches by 4.5 inches, and then we're going to cut another piece at 6 inches by 5.5 inches. So let's get out our manila folder that I've set aside for this. And what I want to do is on the top flap, I want to make sure to get this tab. Okay, and then our spinner will be over here somewhere. Alright, so let's take this off. We're going to use pretty much as much of this scrap as we can. And we're going to come back to it. So let's cut a piece for the top. Let's see. Let's measure 6 inches or 8 inches and see where we go. Not 8 inches. 4.5. See about where we're at. If I can get my ruler to work. 4.5. Okay. So I think we actually want, 5.5 is the top one. Okay, so that should give us enough. I'm going to mark 5.5, and then we're going to cut it off there. And then the other one will be at 4.5, so we can make it a little bit smaller. Make that a little bit longer. 5.5. The end of the ruler's here. This Tim Holtz ruler I like because it's got the grid on it and you can see through it, so you can line things up like a 1/2 inch down and a 1/2 inch in and see if your markings are correct. You also have 1 through 12 on this side. On this side is what's called a zeroing ruler. There's a 0 in the center, and you can go out 1 inch on either side or 2 inches on either side. Helps you find the center of what you're working with. Okay, this is not a commercial for Tim Holtz. I'm just showing you what I'm using for today. All right, so we're gonna get out our paper trimmer. We're gonna put our manila folder on there. We're gonna cut it at our line, which is 5.5. Okay. Then we're going to cut it 6 inches wide with the tab. We want the tab. So we want 6 inches wide. And this is going to be our top flap. Okay. This one we want 6 inches wide, and we want it to be 4.5 inches long. Let me see if I can get 4.5 on there. 4.5. I want to make sure it's straight. I'm trying to talk with my pencil in my mouth. For some reason, I'm having a little eye issue this morning. I can't see straight. Get it? Bad joke number 1. Okay, so we're just going to cut that little bit off of there. Should be 1 inch. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so now this is going to be the bottom. They're going to overlap, and then our spinner will be on here. This almost looks like it's going to overlap too much. We may need to make this a little bit shorter. We'll take a look at it after we score it, and then we hold it up to the page. Let's get our book over here. Or we could even look at it here. We'll use the front cover as a measurement. Let's try not to glue it on the front cover though. Alright, 6 inches wide. For some reason that seems too wide. Okay, we fold here 6 inches wide. Somehow I measured incorrectly. So let's mark on here. Oh, there we go. We're going to the second fold. Yeah, so that should be right. Then a 1/2 inch for the fold. No, that should be fine. Okay. And now we want this to be on the bottom, the flap. And we want this little bitty flap right here to be on the top. Okay, so when we score it, we're going to score the straight ends. This book is getting heavier and heavier. I'll weigh it when we get done and we'll see how much it weighs. Alright, so I'm going to want to score the straight edge. That'll be our flap. I'm going to score this at 4 because it's 4.5 inches long. Oops. I forgot to rock the scoring tool bone folder back, and that way the point doesn't come at the end and like make that little pop. And I made just a little bit of a mark there. You run the risk of cutting your paper if you don't do it that way. Okay, so let's fold this. And we'll score it. We have to fold it back the other way, we will, but this looks like it's correct. No, it isn't. Well, it doesn't matter. We've got the tab at the top. So that'll be like that. You know what? Let's miter the edges before we forget. These are almost our last flaps, so I want to make sure to remember. I'd really like to say that I remembered on all of them. But now that I'm saying this out loud, you know, I'll forget one or something. So we're going to score this one at 5, and that'll give us our 1/2 inch flap. We're scoring a manila folder, so you want to make sure and get it a pretty good score. Now, when you're scoring, your valley, which is the side that you're scoring on, becomes the peak. So you fold it over this way to bone folder it, because now this is what's considered the peak, because the fold is on the inside and that's the valley. And you can always flip it over the other way if you need it to be that way. But this is the way we're going to do it for this one. So we actually got it. We actually got it correct. It's very scary. Very, very scary. Now, it looks like our spinner is going to be on our tab, which is fine. I'm going to miter the corners. And this helps those corners from, or the end, from being a big thick end. And all we're doing is trimming the corners off at an angle. There's 3. We should have 4. Somewhere is another one. Oh, way up here. Otherwise, I'd have to get my little vacuum out. My little vacuum, which is a little ladybug. And you turn it on and you vacuum your desk with it. Very handy. Very, very handy. I like it a lot. It will pick up bigger pieces than you think. So I'm still rolling around on my carpet. So yeah, so if you hear that noise, that's me picking up the stool. Good grief. And moving it forwards because I can't roll around on it. So the next thing we're going to do is attach both flaps. So now this, to me, doesn't seem wide enough. Let's make sure these are this one isn't the correct width. We just measured the height, we didn't measure the width. So let's go 6 by 4.5. Thought we measured that. Must have measured incorrectly. Let's see if the top one is correct. Because we have a gusset here. Oh, that's why. Okay, this one may be correct because we're going over to this line. Let me see if I can show it to you. We have a gusset, and so we're not going to fold on the fold you think. The fold you think we're going to fold on is this one right here, but really that right there is the gusset. We're going to fold on this one. So we measured to this one, not to, so we're going to measure to here. One is definitely narrower than the other though. One of these is not like the other. So this one is correct. Yay, so we can use the top one. We can make the bottom one square. I can work with that. So let's mark it the correct size. And we'll use this one as our guide. We want them to be the same. Definitely. So now since I have to make this mark right next to it, I'm going to cut right on the inside of the line instead of right down the middle of the line, and then that should make us 2 even pieces. We're going to definitely save this. It's already got the flap on it. Who knows, I may make adjustments. So we went 6 inches wide, or the measurement of our bottom one, which is whichever's closer. Okay. Then we want it to be, I'm wondering, let's just cut it here at the fold. And then we'll use the score lines that are here to make our flap. That should make it correct. Yep. There are score lines that come from the factory on here. It's really hard to see on camera. There's 1, 2, 3. We're going to go to the third one and we're going to score it there, which equals 1/2. Oops. I have the word scoreboard written up here because when I first started I could never remember what this was called. Don't laugh. Okay, you can laugh. Just don't laugh loud enough that I can hear you, because that is just rude. So this actually ended up being 4 5/8. Okay, so I'm going to fold this. Then of course we have to miter the corners. It's no big deal if you make a mistake. You just make another piece. Don't freak out or anything. It happens to me quite often. You make a mistake. Never made this page before. So, of course, you know, there's the possibility that we're going to do it wrong the first time. I'm going to adjust my mic here. Excuse the noise. Okay, hopefully that will be better. All right, so now we're going to glue these on. Let's double check them. They're the same width. And we're going to make them even with the outside. So yeah, that should be correct. Okay, so let's glue them on. I think I've said that like 4 times, but we're really going to do it this time. Really for reals. Oh, I meant to refill my glue. I like keeping a full glue bottle as long as I can, so I just keep refilling it, refilling it, refilling it. All right, this is our top one because it has the tab. So we'll put this on here. We'll make sure the edge is even with the edge. That way we know it's straight. Then we're going to make sure that the top is even with the top. Excuse the top of my head. And the mic, probably, and where my sweatshirt sticks out. Okay, then we're going to do the bottom one. We're going to do it the exact same way. Glue the flap. Once the glue gets down to the bottom of the bottle. I tried out a new creamer this morning and I should have known not to try it out on the first cup of coffee. And it was this caramel latte something or other. And I'm sure it's going to taste good because it tasted okay, but it wasn't good for my first cup. And especially because I take my medicine first thing, so I shouldn't have tried to change anything up. But it made me sick to my stomach. So, plus to taste it, I took a big slurp. And of course, as we all know, coffee is very hot. And so I burned the inside of my mouth and all the way down my throat. It's not very comfortable at all. All right, that doesn't seem even. And that doesn't seem even. Let's move it up a little bit. Let's move it over just a little bit. Alright, looks like I'm just going to have to trim that a little bit. I must have somehow cut it a little crooked. I'm going to wait just a second and let that grab. And then I'll come back in with my scissors and trim that little point that's sticking out. Then apparently I cut the edge crooked, or the edge was crooked and then I cut this straight edge. So let's flip it over, and it really isn't very much. So I'm going to get my scissors out. I'll try to trim this. I may have to close one eye. Okay. So that was all we needed taken off. It was just bothering my eyes. Okay. So now we've got this. Okay, now we want to check on the inside for any kind of glue seepage, and there was up here. It's not going to matter, it's going to be under the paper. And there's none here, probably because we moved it around so much. Okay, so now we've got that. Now what we have to do first is we have to cover the papers before we put the spinner on with a brad, or we at least have to cover the bottom one. Excuse me. With the brad, you have to put the piece on and then make sure that it's covered, because on the inside is the part that opens of the brad, and then you have to cover that after. Okay. I'm trying to see how much this is overlapping. The bottom one's going to be bigger than I thought. May do something different with the papering. Yeah, so we're going to cover the fronts of the flaps. Okay. And now I'm not going to paper the tab. We haven't been doing that all along, so we're not going to do it now. I'm going to do the top of the flap. Let me make sure. Yeah, I'm going to do the top of the flap with this because I really like this paper. And of course, we're going to use some of the letters and stuff on the cover as part of our collage. I think we'll still be okay using it on the flap. You know, I don't think it will look like we used it too much. I just really, really like it. So let's go this way with it. Let's see if we can get, no, we can't get the word laugh on there. And we can't get the word friends. So let's see if we can get, let's get this up here and get that bird on. So we're going to line it up with the little bit of the edge showing, just like we did in the other videos. Do the same thing at the top. Make sure the paper's straight. Ha ha. I could hear you all going, but the folder's not straight. But that was the other folder. So now we're going to take the paper clip off, first of all. We're going to go to the edge of the flap, which is right here. And we're going to go in just a little bit. And then the bottom of the flap is here. We're going to go up just a little bit from the straight part. So we're going to go right about here. Okay, now I'm going to do the height first. I mean the width first. But I'm going to double check by sliding it down, because I wasn't really sure where the flap was. Yeah, that looks like it'll be fine. Let's get our paper trimmer out. Let's cut this first so we have a better scrap. And we're going to cut the height. And we're going to double check it. With this papering, especially because we're not doing the tab, we want to double check it and make sure that it fits. Look, we got that bird on there. How sweet. Oh, it says sweet. Okay, yeah, we'll move it up a little bit. That should be fine. Let's glue it. Let's glue it. And this is the top. I'm going with different papers out of the pad, and I'm trying not to just pick like certain ones. We have used about 10 throughout the video. I noticed after we did this that we had used the same one twice on the page, which I was also trying to avoid, since Eclectic is pulling from different sources, and so I didn't really want two things the same. But the page looks so nice. I just couldn't bring myself to move the card to another page, which we still could do. Okay. And then we'll cover the bottom one, and then we'll measure where we want our spinner to go. So let's cover the bottom one. Wow, this one's really hard to see. Let's go this way with the paper. I think maybe... No, that's not going to help. Okay, so we're going to do it here. And then we're going to do it here. And then this does have a top. So I actually measured it from here to here. Yeah. Alright, I know I marked them both, but okay, we're going to mark the width. And we're going to mark the height. Make sure we can see it. You know, we do want to line it up with this as well. Why is that not? That's odd, but there's nothing we can do about it now. This seems wider a little bit. It's going to make a difference on the paper, but you want the paper to be correct. So if it looks a little bit off, then I guess it's going to look a little bit off. Didn't want it to. I was trying very hard to get this one exactly right. I mean, not that you don't want the others to be exactly right, but I meant specifically this one all lined up. All right, so if this is going to be uneven, then we're going to bring it in a little bit so that it's uneven the same on both sides. So we're going to bring this in like this when we glue it. That way the mistake is in the center. It's actually not, because this is wider than that. The wider side on the bottom one, remember, was over here and we trimmed it. When I glued this straight. And so if I'd have moved this over a little bit, I could have trimmed it and it would have been the same. But it's not. So we're going to have to go with what we've got. This is directional, so we're going to mark the top. And just sit there and think for a minute what I was looking for. Okay, this is the top. This is considered the top. I have to put my fingers behind it to see where the paper is. Let's see that. I think I'd like to move this in just a little teeny bit. Yep, that looks better. It's an optical illusion, but it still looks better. Okay, now let's get our spinner out that we're going to use. I think versus the small one, since this page is large, we'll use the large one. Now let's look at where we want to have it. I think I want to have it about there. Then we want to look at how far down. Now I want this fairly close to here because the envelopes, the folder flap is going to hold down 2 writing cards inside, so we want to make sure that it's good and sturdy, you know, and the closer the center is to the paper that you're holding down, the better the grip. So let's mark this right here for our dot. Okay, let's set that aside. In fact, for a minute there we can put it back in. We know which one we used. And we're going to get the crocodile out. I'm going to put it on the smaller hole. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to bring this into where the flap is and where the hole is. I'm going to punch the hole. Then we're going to take our spinner and our little bitty brad. We're going to put the spinner on first and then the brad so that it goes through the hole and holds the arrow on. And we're going to push these open. Okay, then I normally push them flat by pushing down on the brad itself in the center, and it makes these flat, and then I turn it to where I want it, and then so that it doesn't move. Oops, you can hear me going for the Scotch tape. So I'm just going to put some Scotch tape over it. It does smooth it a little bit as well for when you put your paper over the top. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to we're going to it says cover the, and then there's a blank. I believe it's the back. Yes, we're going to cover the back. Maybe I should write that word in there. Cover the back. Just so when I type it up, then I know what I did. It's kind of hard if you don't type it up right away. Alright, so we're going to cover the back. Page 2 back is going to be this. Okay, so we're going to cover this from the fold to the fold, giving a little bit of width, a little bit of a border. Oh, the top is too short. Let's make sure we got everything going on right here. Okay, we'll cut this one here. We'll cut this one here. Okay. So now, as you can see, what will happen is this will spin up and it will hold that shut. Okay, we are going to, while I think of it, let's burnish this a little bit. Kind of get it to lay a little bit flatter. I'm going to do the same with this one. Now we're going to be having 2 cards underneath, so they're still not going to need to lie completely flat, but flatter the better. There we go. Okay. Put our spinners away. We've already got that part done. Forgot to put the lid on my glue. Okay, so let's cut our up and down first. If you remember, they were 6 inches wide. This is a 12-inch piece of paper, so that should give us a whole nice half of a piece for scrap. This should fit the back of the page. Some pop here. We're going to cover the back. Looks like we may have to continue this on. So I'm trying to keep everything at an hour. All the videos at an hour. But the back is going to be similar to this. I may have to rethink it because I don't want it to be the same as this. And it was going to be very similar. So I think I'm going to rethink it. Put this in here. Okay, we need to bring it over. Bring it up just a little bit. Okay. That looks good. The numbers are right side up, even though I didn't write top on the paper. Don't know how that happened. And we're going to cover both of these. Okay, so we've got the insides of the flaps. Trying to see which one. Put this one here and this one up here. You know, I really don't like these two numbers together. I'm going to put you on hold for just a second, and I'm going to pick out a different paper. Okay, I have picked out these two papers. We're going to be putting pockets on them too. So with the additional stuff that we're going to be adding, I'm going to stop the video here, and off camera I'll glue these two papers on, and then when I come back we'll go from there. All right, so that's the end of this video, and we've gotten these papers picked out, ready to go. We've got our back paper done, we've got our front papers done, and we've got our spinner put on right here, and of course we added the flaps themselves. Okay, so that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye bye.